my name is Megan Close, and I'm the president of the Fort Wayne Pitbull Coalition. We got started in 2010, the end of 2010. We just kind of had a call-out meeting. We had some like-minded people that thought we need to do something about the pit bull issue in our community. And that issue was overpopulation, high euthanasia rates, and the fact that at that point there wasn't a reputable pit bull rescue in our area. Animal Care and Control, our municipality at that time, was not adopting out pit bulls. The SPCA was, but not at a high rate at all. So they'd have one or two here or there. So, you have an overpopulation issue, and without adoption options, that leads to a high euthanasia rate as well. So we really started out as not being a rescue. We were very adamant, we're not going to be a rescue, we're not going to be a rescue, we are going to be a community resource, helping people keep their pets in their home in a responsible way. So we had a call-out meeting in the fall of 2010, and at that time I was working at Hope for Animals, which is an amazing high-volume, low-cost clinic here in the area that also opened in 2010. So it was really the employees at Hope for Animals that thought, what can we do to figure this out, that we got together and had this call-out meeting. So after the call-out meeting, we had a great response from the community. We started with just some smaller meetings of people that were interested in things like the spay-neuter thing, the training needs, spay-neuter needs, medical needs, that type of thing. And that just kind of developed. And we had about 5 people that got together, we're all the co-founders, and created a board. And we got licensed in Indiana, we got our Indiana nonprofit status, and then we immediately started into getting our 501c3 federal nonprofit work done. My past has been in animal welfare. When I moved to Fort Wayne 13 years ago, I was looking for employment at the municipal shelter because I went and visited it, and I was just very impressed. So I immediately thought, I have to work here, I have to be part of the difference in this community, and I was 21, I think, at that time. So I was very young, big ambitions, I'm going to change the world. So went in, got a great job there, and I started out in adoptions and just progressed. So I started out in adoptions, then ended up as an animal care specialist, which was the intake side of things. So the intake, the animal care, behavioral, medical, that type of thing. And then eventually was an animal control officer. So I knew right away that we weren't going to make any difference if we couldn't get licensed as a nonprofit, because financially that would be very difficult. We want to be able to take donations in, and also we want to be seen as a reputable group right away. So policies and procedures went into place right away regarding how we felt and our stance on spay-neuter, backyard breeding, training, breed-specific legislation. So what started out as just kind of a little idea between some like-minded people grew into this organization. And we didn't really do a whole lot of rescue work until about 3 to 4 years ago. And we just kind of slipped into being a rescue. We obviously received pleas every day from people who needed to get rid of their dog. At that point, did not want to take them to Animal Care and Control because there were no adoption options at that point. And then, of course, SPCA at that time had a much lower adoption rate than what they do now, and so therefore could not take in as many animals either. So there weren't a lot of options. So it just kind of naturally happened that we would take a dog here or there that were ambassadors for their breed, good with dogs, good with kids, easy to place animals, so that we kept them out of the shelter system and were able to get them placed. Now, we still said we weren't a rescue, but eventually that changed. And it just kind of changed naturally. So there was a need, and we were financially stable enough to do it. We had a business plan in place of how we were going to be self-sustainable as a rescue, because one of the biggest fears with rescue work is that you're not going to be sustainable, and you're going to do this for 6 months, and then you're going to be in the red, and you're not going to be able to help anybody with anything. And what we didn't want to do was to go down the rescue road and then lose our community our community support. You know, the fact that we were able financially to support the community, to help with them with training, to help them with spay neuter. We didn't want to lose that ability to be a rescue. So that's kind of how we got to where we are. We have been growing exponentially for the past 3 years. It's a great thing, and it's also a difficult thing. We say that at our board meetings all the time. It's like we are so excited to be one of the #1 rescues in Fort Wayne, in Indiana, for pit bulls. But with that comes great responsibility and a lot of growing pains. You know, financials become an issue. The mass amount of pleas we get from shelters and individuals, you know, it's hard to say no. We have to be able to say no, though, in order to be a reputable rescue.